Hello, welcome back to another watch party. It is the Nets taking on the San Antonio Spurs. We are at game number 61, so in the final, well and truly in the final third of the regular season. I don't know why the camera's doing that. Hang on a second. Probably just need to whack down the exposure just a little. Actually, that's maybe too much. Yeah, we'll just set it on that. All right. So, 21 games left in the regular season. The most recent game we played was a loss to the Pistons, and I did not do the watch party for that game, and happily so, because that was one of the most ghastly shooting performances you will ever see. This team put up 94 points, which isn't really that far off what the norm has been in the last couple of months. But the main issue was with Cam Thomas out, and no Trendon Watford as well, who's been a great contributor off the bench. The Nets shot the ball 30.5% from the floor. They only made 6 threes on 15% shooting. And the only saving grace was that they had 14 offensive rebounds, forced 27 turnovers, and had 30 free throws. That was the state of the game for the Nets. And Tyrese Martin led the scoring in only 23 minutes. He scored 23 points, 7 of 11 from the floor, and made 7 free throws. So 3 players hit 7 or more free throws in the previous match, but no one scored more than 15 except for Tyrese Martin. So this team was very much hindered. Cam Johnson went at maybe one of the worst shooting percentages on that volume I've seen all season. 3 of 20. He did not make a 3. He had made a 3 60 straight games, and that was the game that ended it all. And yet a lot of players missing threes. Keon Johnson, 2 of 9. Zaire Williams, 0 of 6. So you merge those 3 together, and that comes to a very abysmal 2 of 25, which is 8%. So that's basically how, the team shot the ball in a nutshell. And as I said, we got out-rebounded by 9, but we outdid them on the offensive glass by 8. They shot at 50-40 and just a little bit under 90. The defense has really fallen away the last couple of games. I have to be completely honest. It was a very good run of holding teams under 100 points. But in the last bit of time now, we have now conceded... It's now 6 games in a row we've conceded over 100 points after a run which had us concede maybe... we had that win streak where we held nearly every single opponent to under 100 points. So I'm pretty certain all of our wins came from that sort of source. So in order to get back into a winning position, it's going to require that exact level of defensive intensity, which has been missing for a great chunk of the last batch of time since we've gone back on that losing streak. Now, that is good in the sense that we are racking up a few losses because a few teams behind us have gained a little bit of ground. New Orleans are only 4.5 games back. The Raptors are only 2.5 games back, and the Sixers are now on an equal record with us. So I'm not 100% sure why we get the better odds as opposed to Philadelphia. But we're on the exact same record as them, and Chicago have gained a little bit of distance on us as well. They're now 2.5 games ahead. So the Spurs are a little bit further ahead as well. They are sitting at the 9th best pick or 9th best odds right now. So they've got an equal incentive to lose. They are playing, of course, Wembanyama's out. So they're playing Biyombo at the 5, Harrison Barnes, Chris Paul, De'Aaron Fox, and Devin Vassell. Stephon Castle had a great game the other day for them. where he racked up, I believe, 30 points, but they did not win that game, I'm pretty certain. Let me have a quick look. So the Spurs have lost 5 of their last 6 games. They're in a little bit of a spot of bother. The last game they played, they conceded 146 points, with Williams scoring 41 and Shea scoring 31. Castle had 32 off the bench, but really there was no supporting cast. Fox had 20, and that was really about it. And I think if we go back to the last time these two teams played one another, it could not have been any further from that sort of a scoreline. 146-132 was the last, was the scoreline between the Spurs and the Thunder the last game. But we go back to the last time these two teams went head to head, and the Nets held the Spurs to 11 points in the opening quarter. I do remember that quite vividly, but at halftime it was all square. And in the second half, we didn't have enough offense to get going. Keon Johnson had 25, and we had 5 players in double figures. Shake Milton, I'm pretty sure that was his last game in a Nets uniform. He had 16 and 12, and DFS also got shipped off after that match. But really, in that game, the defense was the thing that was prevailing. The Nets only had 8 free throws the whole match. So yeah, it was definitely not an offensively gifted game, but I'll tell you what, there are a lot of players that weren't there in that fixture that are there now. Cam Thomas was not playing, he is now. Watford will be playing, he is now. And he wasn't in that fixture. Cam Johnson also wasn't playing in that fixture. And I think those are the main ones worth mentioning. So, and D'Angelo Russell, of course, he is also back in the team today. So, it's a pretty good team. I don't even think Zaire Williams was playing in that time as well. So, our whole starting 5, aside from Nic Claxton, was not playing. So, it's a vastly different group for both teams. And it will be very, very interesting to see whether or not the Nets are able to flip the script and actually get the W over the San Antonio Spurs. So we're about to get this one underway very, very shortly. Those who have just joined us, hope you're doing well. We are heading towards the twilight phase of the regular season. Around the grounds, some important fixtures to keep your eyes on. Houston are playing Indiana right now. We have their pick. They are losing, and they are in a bit of a slump right now. So that is going to be of great benefit to us. They're down at the 5 seed now, so I don't think they're going to slip too far down from that. They're 4 games ahead of the 6 seed. But in terms of a positional perspective, for the draft picks, they can dip below Milwaukee and Indiana. Well, Indiana will gain a game on them. They're only 2 games back. Houston are 2.5 games back at the 20 spot right now. So, I mean, we were talking about the Bucks falling down to that position. The Bucks have ascended a little bit, and New York, of course, we have their pick too, but that's not really going to count for too much with them continuously winning. They are beating the Warriors right now. The Raptors are losing to Orlando. That's an important game. Milwaukee in a tie with Atlanta, and Chicago were beating the Cavaliers by 13. That's fairly surprising considering the the situation they're in now with their rotation. So definitely some interesting games to keep watch of today. We're about to get this one underway at San Antonio's home turf. So, in case you missed it, the starting 5, Cam Thomas, D'Lo, Cam Johnson, Zaire Williams, and Nic Claxton. That is the best lineup we've had in a very long time. You'll probably have to go back to seeing Dennis Schroeder in the lineup when our lineup was probably as strong as it is now. The only thing that's very, very, very interesting about this is the fact that we have no defense in that backcourt. D'Lo's been all right defensively. He's racked up a steal or 2, but So yeah, I don't know, it's a interesting situation if we concede 135 points today. We do get a steal though. It's D'Lo who ends up with it, and he throws it ahead to Williams. Over the shoulder, Johnson's ready to fire. He did not score a 3 all game last time out. First miss there. Fox, the roller, is Biombo. He's going to shoot with the left and gets the bounce. So Spurs on the board. 2-0 start for San Antonio. Biombo's been at feels like 7 or 8 different teams now in the NBA over a very long tenured career. Thomas picks up his dribble. 1-2 with Claxton. He's going to step back for 3 up top of the key. That is short as well. Fox with the rebound. Now Chris Paul across to Fox, guarded by Williams. It looks like that'll be the primary assignment. They're playing a very small lineup today. Barnes takes it inside. Kick out to Vassell. He's ready to shoot. And that is good. So 5-0 start for San Antonio. Williams is just going to let it fly. That is a bad shot. So the Nets are putting up some threes early. They're not looking remotely interested in taking it to the hoop. That's already 3 misses. Vassell. Turnaround J. That's a rainbow jumper. That is good. They've got the first 7. Vassell's got 5 of those. We're just a little under 2 minutes into the quarter. Russell, a nice little lefty floater to get the Nets on the board after the Spurs scored the first 7 unanswered. It's Chris Paul on the outside across to Vassell. Good move. Picks up his dribble. He's doubled. The kick out to Fox. The extra to Barnes on the weak side. Money. And the Nets have defensively looked like shit. Aside for that first possession where we were able to force a turnover, there's been no answers. Russell has his pass knocked away. It was going to Williams in the corner. The Spurs then turn it over in the backcourt, trying to push the pace a little bit. And Russell's 3 is long as well. So it would have been nice to see the Nets actually drive that one in. They've just thrown it out of bounds, the Spurs, in a typical tankers move. So 10-2 start here for San Antonio. Very good start for them. And the Nets are looking to just get into their game a little bit. A very slow start to things. Cam Thomas on the outside. Cam Johnson has an open 3. The off-ball screen by Williams was beautiful. And it's good to see one go through for Cam Johnson, who missed all 10 3-pointers the other night. Fox across to Vassell. He's going to shoot a rhythm 3. That is another tough make. It's like watching the 2 doppelgangers at it. Keziah Williams and Vassell, very similar in build, and their hairstyle is the exact same. Russell 3, that bobbles out. Another board for the Spurs. 13-5 start for them. It's a good look. Fox now in the corner. That hits back rim. Rebound is swooped on by Cam Johnson. He's going to go early in the clock. Bounces it into Russell. They had a mismatch momentarily, but weren't able to capitalize. No look to Thomas. Catch and shoot pop. Nope. Williams, the offensive rebound. He shoots with the right, and he was hit on the arm by Vassell. And these will be the first free throws of the game. So Zaire gonna take a trip at the line. Of course, we mentioned that the Nets had 35 free throws the other night. And we haven't had such a volume in a very long time. So that was the only real silver lining in a game where you shot the ball at 30% from the field, 15% from 3. We've started very, very similarly today. Cam Thomas, I assume, is getting eased back into things as he heads to the bench after a little under 3 or little under 4 minutes of play. Williams at the line. Makes both. 13-7 start. Paul getting pressed in the backcourt by Russell. Now it's Fox. Nets go under the screen. It looks like Barnes just lost the ball. The Nets in transition can attack the rim. Russell just lost it. Claxton ended up with it. And he shuffled the pivot foot. So the Nets squandered that opportunity. Geordie wanted a whistle. He thought that D'Angelo Russell got slapped on the arm, but the Nets are unable to be successful on that possession. 13-7 the score. It's a knockaway by Williams out of bounds. When the Nets are getting steals, of course their defense is thriving, but it's the inability to really force missed shots at the moment. Fox looking to trigger in. Gets it to Vassell, and Keon Johnson's out on the floor now, so he's there with the purpose, and that's to play defense first and foremost. Fox one-on-one is going to shoot over Williams. He's been contesting the shots very well and forcing some misses. I don't know why I stumbled on my words. Biombo's really, really sore after that rebound. I reckon he got hit. Barnes' 3 is off. Yeah, I don't know why. I just mumbled my words. Bit of a stutter there. Anyway. 7 minutes to play in the opening period. Russell drives left, shoots off window, and that is a pretty looking make. And we have the first timeout of the match. The Nets have responded well and stabilized things a little bit after conceding the first 7. They've outscored them since and brought the lead to within 4. So, pretty decent start. I'll put Cam Thomas in the play to watch, because why not? I figure it's a good opportunity for him to thrive today. He didn't have the greatest of return matches a couple games ago against Portland. So far, though, Vassell's got 8 points and he hasn't missed, hence the reason why Keon Johnson has entered the fray to sort of counteract that and try hold him up a little bit, because he's going to be one of their main keys. De'Aaron Fox has been well held. He has not made a shot yet. 3 assists to his name, though, so he's doing a good job of facilitating, even in spite of the lack of shooting. And from a Nets perspective, D'Lo's gotten on the board. The 3-point shooting has looked abysmal. And look, we've done a great job of forcing turnovers, 4 of those, in fact. But they've had more turnovers than missed shots, and that is going to be a focal point for the Nets today, I think. Trying to force more misses as opposed to relying on turnovers so heavily, because the Pistons the other night shot 50% from the floor, 40% from 3. They had 27 turnovers. So the only reason it was remotely close to a ball game was because of the turnovers, really. Because even the free throws, they had quite a few. And the 35 Nets free throws, it didn't really make much of a difference in the end, because they were giving quite a few up. The Nets are 3 of 10 right now, and 1 of 8 from deep. So, yeah, the threes need to be ironed out right now. They're shooting the ball good when they actually take it inside. But the only person to do that at the moment is D'Angelo Russell. So, definitely need a bit more balance here, I feel. As we enter the second half of this first quarter. 13-9 the score. All right. So, play resumes. It looks like Castle's in the game, fresh off the 32-point game that he just had. Tyrese Martin's on the floor as the second man to enter the game for D'Angelo Russell. So, no Watford as of yet. And so I don't know who we're playing with as a primary point guard. The Spurs weren't able to complete the oop. And the Nets are going to... I don't know who they're playing through here. Cam Johnson, maybe? Claxton was held and he didn't get a whistle. And the Spurs, it's a 3-on-2 break, and skying in is Keldon Johnson, who makes the bucket. I forgot he was still there. I thought he got traded. Very interesting to see the replay on the previous play. I thought Claxton got wrapped up on the roll, but it instead resulted in a turnover and an easy bucket on the other end. Claxton is going to back down Castle. Turns and shoots on the left, and he's got to be making those. When you are that height against a point guard, you got to be better than that. Castle's two is very much off. Sayer bounces it into Martin. I don't think he was ready for it, and there was no foul, no timeout, a turnover. So Nets, ever since they just sent both of their facilitators to the bench, they have just... Well, I don't really know what the point of Geordie doing that was, to be honest. At least bring on a point guard. So the Spurs, in 2 quick sequences, well, they very easily could have given away 2 fouls, but instead they've made 2 buckets, and they've decided to expand that lead a little bit. Now up 18-9. Danny, welcome to the stream, buddy. Hope you're doing well. If you are enjoying the stream so far, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new. We'll be back for Nets versus the Golden State Warriors in a couple of days' time. That'll be on Friday this week. But right now, it's been a little bit of a shitty performance, to be honest. Would love a little bit more fluidity in our play, because right now you look at that box score and it is screaming more of the same from the other day. 3 of 11, 4 turnovers, and on the other end you're allowing them to shoot above 50% from both categories. So even though you're forcing turnovers, as we've said, and you're keeping them off the line, with the way you're shooting the ball, the way you're turning it over yourself, and the field goal percentage you're allowing them to shoot at, it's just not going to end well. It's not going to bode well for you. It's going to be a pretty long day at the office. So I don't even know who the Spurs have off their bench. No Jeremy Sohan. I don't know if he's coming off the bench these days or what's going on. Let me have a look. Last game the Spurs played against OKC. Who on earth? So Sohan came off the bench. Okay. Keldon Johnson, Champagny. They really only play a 9-man rotation. And I don't really know who they're playing as their small ball center, to be honest. Very, very undersized group that they're playing. Probably works for them, though, because they've played Wembanyama in a very spacing-friendly sort of position. So 18-9, we're a little over halfway through this opening quarter, and it's not been great. It's not been great. So play resumes, and the Nets need to regroup. They have not made a change, which I find very baffling. How is Martin and Keon Johnson, the first 2 Nets on the floor, off the bench? Cam Johnson with a great reverse layup, a good play off the ball. Johnson wanted the lob, read by Claxton, interrupts it, and the Nets in transition get 2 quick buckets. And Tyrese Martin scores a bucket, so the Nets with a good response in the space of about 30 seconds after the timeout. Paul, Castle, Spin on Williams. Kick out. Good look. Johnson's open. That's hit the side of the backboard practically. And the Nets are going to continue playing with a bit of pace. Keon Johnson given a fair bit of room out there. And he was just given a free runway and he's been fouled. So 4:29 to play. The Nets have gotten a quick 6 on the board. So Martin with a bucket and a dime. And then Keon Johnson taking the reins. Love to see that. And so one free throw would cut it back down to 2. So pleasant surprise coming from the 2 new entrants into the ball game. Johnson with a make. And Jalen Wilson is out there now with Dayron Sharp. So it looks like Sohan is playing the 5. So Dayron's going to have a bit of an unorthodox sort of role here because Sohan's a very interesting sort of a player. I don't know what his field goal percentages are. Anyway, play resumes. 18-16 the scoreline. Sohan the handoff to Vassell. He's back in the game. Shoots with the right. And he had the defender on his back. So ended up being an uncontested make. 4 minutes to play. The lead is 4. Martin is going to pull the trigger. Fresh off that 23-point fixture. The Nets do not get that long rebound. Johnson the drive. He attacks Williams. And I reckon he forced a tie up there. Why do we have that same bullshit official that was an absolute prick last week? He just follows us everywhere. So fucking infuriating, man. Can't believe it. Looks like Watford's going to enter the ball game as that first free throw is converted. Second one is good. So lead back up to 6 on the back of a couple of made free throws by Keldon Johnson. Champagne's in the game as well now. Watford's guarded by Champagne. Open look on the weak side. It's Wilson. Yes, so Wilson had a good game the other day. He didn't shoot with the high volume, but he hit his free throws like many other Nets did. Castle, no room to move. Driving kick out, and Champagne had veered a little bit further right in the corner, and that's where the pass was not directed towards. The Nets are going to look to play quickly now. Martin. High screen. A double screen set now. Wilson thought about the 3. He's going to take it in, kick it back out. Martin's got another look. That one's a little bit long. And we've got the lightest of pushes being called a foul now on Dayron Sharp. So that's not one he wants to give up because he loves a good foul. So 3 minutes to play here in this opening quarter. (22-19) the score. Blitz arrives again. And now Johnson in the post. He's going to back down Watford. Lost the handle, and they've called a fucking foul. This official, man. Are we taking the fucking piss with these fouls? Let's have a look. God, I reckon he would have won that challenge, to be honest. I cannot believe they have called that a foul. It's Castle on the outside. The roll. The 3 by Champagne. Yes, sir. In rhythm. Good make. Cam Thomas is back out on the floor now. Feel like the defense just drops away immediately whenever CT gets out there. The Nets have shot at 5 of 6 on the inside. They're going to look to attack that, but Dayron can't catch a simple a simple pass and another turnover. The Nets have been very turnover prone in this opening quarter. 2:20 to play, and I think we've got half a dozen of those already. So back to 6. Castle pressed in the backcourt. He's going to attack Martin, who stayed with him nearly the entirety of the way, but Castle slowed down and was able to work his way through the contact and score off glass to make it an 8-point game. Watford will pass to Thomas, and it looks like he will settle a little bit. Pass to the corner for Wilson. Driving kick. Watford, good relocation. It's another open look. That's off as well. Nets chase up the board. It's Martin into Thomas, who will drive and shoot as he draws the contact, and he will get free throws at the line. That is something that CT is very, very good at. Excuse me. So 2 looks here for CT with the lead at 8 for San Antonio in this opening quarter. First look is in. All right. First one, good. Second one, with the same result. This time looking a little bit prettier. So 6-point game for San Antonio. Leaves it for the trailer, which is Johnson. The spin move on Thomas. They are attacking that matchup. They did that so many times against Portland as well. So I would sense that they're gonna do that as much as they can today. Watford, a nice little finger roll. Fox across the Champagne. Gets by the defender. Dayron got the block and he hit the rim. Or knocked it onto the rim. It didn't go in. Wilson tries to force the issue and did not get the whistle. And the Spurs can attack this 5-on-4. Open look in the corner. That's a great closeout by Martin. San Antonio knock it out of bounds on the offensive rebound attempt. It will be Nets ball with 53 seconds remaining in this opening quarter. Thomas back to Watford, and we will hold for what can essentially be a 2-for-1 if we use the entirety of the clock. Cam Thomas is probably going to go a bit earlier than that. He drives on Sohan, and with the scoop is able to capitalize. And a 2-point game. A 4-point game. I'm not paying attention here. Until that Castle 3 is badly off. Now we actually have an opportunity to make it a 2-point game. Thomas thought he had a 2-for-1 opportunity, but that wasn't available to him. A 6-second difference between shot and game, with the lead at 4 for San Antonio. The screen set by his fellow draft class partner in Sharp. Step back 3 over Sohan, and that hits back rim, and the board secured by Castle. What are we doing? We're not even getting back, and that's an easy flush. Did the Nets even know that there was time on the clock? Wilson nearly hit the 3 as the buzzer sounded, but that was a very odd end to the quarter. I think nearly every net on the floor forgot that after that Cam Thomas 3 was put up, there was still a very healthy chunk of time left. And so we gave up an easy 2 up the other end. We score 25 but concede 31, and I'm not awfully convinced that Jordi Fernandez will be happy with that sort of defensive effort in the opening quarter, especially after you allow the opposition in the previous game to shoot 50-40 and almost 90. Vassell is 10, Keldon Johnson is 9. I swear Keldon Johnson plays well every single time we play the San Antonio Spurs. The Nets have no player with more than 5 points. Cam Thomas has the 4, a good little response when he was on the floor, but overall, I cannot say I'm too happy with the performance. I mean, we're conceding buckets way too much at the moment. And look, every 3-pointer almost every three-pointer has not looked close. We're 9 of 23 from the floor, but when you crunch the numbers, 5 makes it the line, and 7 of 9 on the interior. Like, when you compare that with the 3-point percentage, which is 2 of 14 right now, add in the 5 turnovers there. I mean, it's... Look, I think there was a lot of missed opportunity in that opening quarter. We did force 6 turnovers and did keep them off the line, which helps you a great chunk when, you know, you're able to do those things. But the Nets haven't really placed themselves in an advantageous position with that bullshit 3-point percentages and the amount of turnovers they've had of their own. So overall, a lot of work to do. Clax needs to get into the game a little bit more, I feel. And I'm very interested to see what the minute allocations are going to look like here, because like D'Lo's just come back. What else? I mean, yeah, D'Lo's come back. Cam Thomas, of course, plays the same position roughly. Trendon Watford plays the point. I don't know. I'm really interested to see, because this is probably the healthiest Jordi Fernandez has seen his playing group be for quite some time. Now, wow. We talk about defensive numbers and him not being happy, Jordi Fernandez, with the performance. The last 5 quarters, we've allowed teams to shoot above 50% in the opening quarter. Maybe even 55%. I didn't pay enough attention. So, you know, we're not really setting the tone from the outset, and we're always chasing tail from the end of the first quarter onwards. So, very frustrating thing right there. Dayron's going to get it from the inbounds. There is a hold on Sohan, who's playing the small ball 5 role. So 31-25, the scoreline. Play resumes again. They're playing through Sharp. Thomas fights for position. Dayron rolls to the rim. Nice little finger roll. I thought he was going to get that knocked away, but a good take. Strong on the approach. And a good bucket. He deserved that one. Castle the kick out to Champagne. And he travelled. So a lot of turnovers from a San Antonio perspective as well when you think about it. D'Lo into CT, moves through traffic. Watford nearly lost the handle falling out of bounds and then did lose the basketball. Spurs go cross court. Johnson the extra pass. It's off. Champagne gets the offensive rebound. He scoops it to Johnson. Spin into a kick out. And Castle doesn't get the bounce. Unlucky. Dayron was doubled, but was able to overcome that traffic. And it means the Nets have an open look in transition. Thomas the make. And I've got to give Dayron a lot of credit for pushing the pace and being able to remain composed despite getting doubled that early in the clock. Fox steps back into an open 2. That was misdirected. The Nets can take the lead for the first time tonight with a make. It's Thomas. Drive in. Keeps the ball low to the ground. Rolls it back out. He's now in a switch. Sohan, he's been exploiting that mismatch. He drives in, stops, and passes to Watford, who scores with the runner. And the Nets have the lead for the first time tonight. A good start to the second quarter. 7 unanswered points. So good work. And then the Nets get a knockaway. And it's Dayron, who had 4 steals the other night, picking up another steal to his name there. Thomas, high screen, steps back. Open look. I just lost my voice. Russell creatively knocks it back out. Watford on the reload. Yes, sir. And we've got a timeout. The Nets lead by 4. They've scored 10 in a row. I'm looking for my water bottle. It's a great start to the second quarter, and it's come off getting a few stops. Who would have bloody thought? It's this group right here who have put in a pretty good shift to start the second. Making some really good buckets. Cam Thomas has gotten involved early. You will see that he now has 7 points and 3 assists. So whatever I add to his play to watch tally is what he's done in this quarter. Already 1 3-point make, and he's also got a couple of assists. Already more than what he delivered in the first quarter. So despite the inefficiency shooting-wise, he's delivered. And Trendon Watford with the 7 as well. So he's gotten a little bit busy in this second quarter and helped the run, which is always quite handy. So the Nets picking up their percentages shooting-wise. They've already made the same amount of threes in the quarter than they did in the entire first quarter. And on 11 fewer attempts. They're 9 of 11 from deep. From the interior. So the Spurs have had no real answer on the inside. They don't have that sort of size without Wembanyama. They also don't have Zach Collins anymore. And Biyombo hasn't been on the floor for a fair chunk of time now. I don't even know if they have Charles Bassey these days, the Spurs, but right now running a group with Sohan at the 5 and Johnson at the 4, it's not a very size-friendly matchup. So, good response by the two boys from LSU in Watford and Thomas. And the lead is back to 4. If you are enjoying, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you are new. We'll be back for Nets versus the Warriors in a couple of days' time, so make sure to tune in for that. Okay. 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 So play resumes with the Spurs having conceded 10 unanswered points already. And they nearly lost the ball there on that sequence as well. Castle. Champagny, the drive down the middle. He lost the handle. We've got 6 to shoot. Castle's going to have to make something work. Drives. Oh, that's a beautiful bit of body control. And he gets it to go. +1. He's made something out of absolutely nothing, as we just said. And, yeah, I mean, with 4 seconds on the clock, he had it on the outside and had to make it all work himself. Dayron with a little bit of a lack of discipline there. So, a bailout of sorts. And it will be Castle at the free throw line, who hasn't really been able to get into things too much so far in this game. The free throw is short. Watford's able to secure. And D'Lo will bring it up. The Nets haven't made a change since that timeout. The Spurs do bring Barnes back in. Claxton's also back out on the floor for Brooklyn as well. What the hell was that? An uncontested bounce pass somehow ends up in a turnover. Well, you're screwed if that's going to happen. 9:02 to play in the second. Did that... Yeah, that is just a shocking pass by Clax. I don't know what the hell that was. So 9 minutes to play. And the Spurs can look to score a couple buckets in a row here. Castle with the right. Lobs it into Biyombo. It looked like a shot, actually. Biyombo scores with the left hand and ties the game at 35. Watford. Out to Thomas. Into the lane. Oh my God, what a bucket on like 3 defenders he flexes. That's the ability right there. That's why he goes into the weight room. Champagne, that's a beautiful skip pass. It was basically a layup. That's how open it was, that 3-point attempt. But Champagne has been in the G League for some time. Chris Paul is able to force a tie-up on Trendon Watford. So I don't really know how CP3 is going to fare at 38 years old, I think, in a jump ball. But he's going to have to try and make it work, giving up a ton of size and also a ton of youth as well. And the jump ball is won nearly by San Antonio. They nearly anticipated it beautifully, but instead in that gamble, they conceded a wide open 3, and it was D'Lo who knocked it down. So that was really clever by Castle, because he read that the Nets were going to win that and it was going to be tapped towards the Spurs basket, but he wasn't able to secure fully. Champagne is knocked on that Claxton closeout. So the Nets have been busy fouling in the second quarter, especially in the last couple of minutes. The lead is 5. 7:54 to play in the second. Ball's triggered in. Castle just threw it into open space, and the Nets now have a 3-on-2 break. Russell with patience finds Wilson. Money! So that seems like tanking at its finest, because, wow, I don't know where the hell that pass was going for the Spurs. Chris Paul nearly had an open 3. He'll pass to Castle, and he traveled. So another turnover for San Antonio, and this second quarter, it's looked very, very, very rough for the Spurs. I mean, really haven't been able to get any continuity after they scored 31 points in the opening quarter. They've already conceded 18, and we're not even 5 minutes into this second quarter. Claxton into Jalen Wilson, who rolls it round, lost the ball going up. Chris Paul ends up with the steal. Castle down the middle to the corner for Barnes. He'll drive and kick it back out. The extra feed, and that is a make. And it looks like we're going to get a timeout. I don't know who's called it. Jordi Fernandez is going to call it. Literally the minute he changes the group up, the vibe immediately changes with a turnover. And yeah, turnover and a bucket for San Antonio. So good little response by them. And we head back to the box score. It's been a much better second quarter by Brooklyn. They have completely flipped the script. Cam Thomas is the 9 points in the game now. And he has been a lot more of a positive influence in this second quarter. Wilson's got the 6, and Russell and Watford with 7 each. Watford's got 7, 3 boards, 3 assists. And he's a team I plus 14. So any group he has been on the floor with, anything he touches, it turns to gold. But unfortunately, we haven't had the same sort of influence with other players who have seemed to be passengers. The Nets are 4 or 5 from deep in the quarter, though. That has really helped their position in this game, and they are now shooting above 50%. Equally, they've only allowed the Spurs to make 1 3-pointer, and that field goal percentage from the inside has not looked as ridiculous as it was in the first quarter. On top of that, the turnovers, man. I mean, we aren't looking after the ball particularly well ourselves, but they have had 10 turnovers already in the game. And Castle's been out there for 11 minutes, already committed 3 of them. So he's definitely got some kinks to iron out. But really, it's been a very strong second quarter by Brooklyn. I think they'll be happy with it. But those little sequences from end to end where you give up a turnover and then give up a bucket, in in quick time, that's got to be cleaned up because that has happened way too much so far in this match. Around the grounds, very interesting watch right now. Because we are currently sitting in a position where, let's have a look. The Raptors are leading, the Bucks are losing. Philly are losing as well. So those are probably the main ones that concern us. Houston also lost. So Indiana gain a game on them. But the Raptors winning by 11 is the big one, especially if we lose today. I think the gap closes to within about a game and a half. So they're picking up a few more wins now that their roster's a lot healthier. The Nets resume here with Tyrese Martin, Claxton, Cam Johnson, Zaire, and J-Dub on the floor. No primary ball handler again. I'm not understanding this. Claxton has had the rock for about 15 of the seconds. Martin moves inside, shoots with the right. That's a good move. Didn't think Tyrese was capable. But do we think this guy's a primary ball handler? Do we think he's a point guard? Paul actually beat Wilson on the dribble drive, which is sort of crazy to me because Paul is verging on 40. Claxton shoots on the right. He can't get the angle. Biyombo's fucking cooking him. Williams attacks. Isn't able to score. Claxton gets hit from behind. And the Spurs get the opportunity to run again. It's Chris Paul. Splash. So, 6 minutes to play here in this second quarter. We hit the halfway point. Claxton has been... Wow, he's been a non-factor. And they've fumbled the ball again on a drive. Like, how many turnovers are we going to commit in this game, man? Keon Johnson will return. He didn't play or hasn't played for a long while here in this game. I don't think he's seen the floor in the second quarter, but he will probably close this half out. It's an audition for a lot of these players because, you know, we've got like an 11-man rotation at this point. So a lot of minutes up for grabs. You know, because I don't feel like a lot of these minutes are secure, but there's a lot of players that are worthy. Claxton has to put up a mid-range and hits it beautifully. The net had curled over from underneath. It was that beautiful. It was that much of a swish. So the lead is 4. Claxton bails us out in that respect. Vassell's step back 3 is off. Got to get the board, and Cam Johnson isn't even looking at the basket. Someone needed to help CJ out there because he'd done well to box Biyombo out, but there was just absolutely no reinforcement whatsoever. Also, continue to be confused why Claxton is not taking more mid-ranges when he very clearly has the ability. I swear every game, there's 1 or 2 situations we need a bailout. He puts up a deep mid-range 2 and it works out for him. Like, you know, I don't know why there isn't a higher tendency for him to shoot those. Cam Johnson has been well held in this second quarter. No score yet. Paul nearly pickpocketed Claxton. He left Williams open. We weren't able to find him as we still had it. Williams has an open 3, and that was Chris Paul's man. So he's been punished for the gamble. Yet again, that's happened a couple of times in the quarter. The lead is 5 for Brooklyn. It has not been a lot higher than this. Paul is doubled. Drive by Barnes baseline. Foul and bucket. So it's going to be another free throw. And the Nets regroup again. So, lead is 3. Barnes can trim it down to not 1, 2. In just a moment's time. So, 4:27 to play here in the second period. I feel like this half has gone really, really quickly. So 50-48 the score as we wind down in this first half. Martin's been given a lot of run here in this first half. Johnson has his pass knocked away. Spurs are able to save. And they can take the lead with a bucket depending on shot selection. Oh! That was a lethal dunk by Vassell. I thought he'd lost the handle. He somehow regained it after being fouled on the drive and then threw down the hammer on Zaire Williams. I mean, there could have been like 3 fouls in that. The bench are absolutely loving it. I didn't know Vassell had that in him. So Williams is going to head to the bench. I mean, I tell you what, Williams has had not a great stint in this last 3 or 4 games either. Watford is back on the floor now. D'Lo is also returning with Cam Thomas. Lead is back at 51-50, a point the margin in the way of the Spurs. Watford, 1-2 with Claxton. Going to go to the left side for Cam Thomas. Watford at an open 3. He's going to drive it in. D'Lo, extra. Thomas jab step. He's guarded by Biombo. The double arrives. What the fuck, man? CJ was wide open to his right, and he is not even... Oh, God. The tunnel vision on that play was unbelievable. CT, man. You got to fucking open your eyes. Nets are able to get a steal. They're going to run. They don't have the numbers, but they do find the space. And D'Lo's 3 is well short, even though that was a beautiful look for Brooklyn. So they navigated that one pretty well. Just stiff to not get the end result. Johnson the drive. Goes at Cam Thomas. Doesn't get the bounce. Claxton bounces it into the hardwood. It ends up with San Antonio. They're going to get another look. Quick trigger. Nope. Barnes is off. The Nets are going to go quickly and try tie the Spurs out. Watford can't get the scoop. Good bit of body control there. I thought he'd absolutely overrun it, but he got a lot closer than I could have anticipated. He's absolutely livid. He can't believe it. So 3:08 to play in this second quarter. Watford at the line with the conversion. De'Aaron Fox back out there now. Harrison Barnes will take a seat. So 3:10 to play in the second. Second free throw bounces out. So Nets come up a little bit dissatisfied with the outcome of that possession. Vassell on the weak side. High screen and blitz. Paul, quick ball movement. Fox the drive. Shoots over Thomas. That's very, very nice work there by De'Aaron Fox. That was not made easy. It was kept out of that 5 to 10 foot range. Lob. Claxton completes the play. Beautiful look by D'Lo. Excellent find. I don't think we've seen enough of that 2-man game with D'Lo and Clax there. Pass into Biombo. Claxton comes over to help, but Biombo is eating with that hook shot in this game. 55-53 now. Thomas will get inside again. Picks up his dribble. Oh, good cut by Johnson. He was just dishonored again. Thomas will score on the baseline. So Johnson, a little bit stiff to not get a couple of shots up in the last minute or two. Biombo the kick out. Easy look for Fox. That is a practice shot yet again. He had time to think about that. So, bit of miscommunication. We're in the final 2 minutes of this opening quarter, and D'Lo is going to bark out some instructions as he lets the basketball roll. D'Lo bounces it to CT now as the Nets call out a play. Thomas to the corner for Cam Johnson. Goes baseline. Lost the ball going up. The Nets still have it. It's an open look. That is so stiff, but D'Lo cannot buy a bucket today from the outside. The Spurs attack the middle. Johnson can't get the bounce.
Good verticality by Cam Johnson. Watford's going to go early. Attacks. That has to be a goaltender. Are you kidding me? What? Fox the kick out. Good read by Watford, who was probably still complaining about the lack of goaltend. Thomas will attack. There's the foul, and we're going to get 2 free throws here. That is fucking criminal. How on earth did they not call that a goaltend? It was basically... gravity was bringing that down. And had been for like 3 seconds. Let's have a look. There's no way he got to this. Oh my God. That is the most blatant goaltend you will ever see. And these bum officials continue to not have a fucking clue what they're officiating. Go officiate golf or some shit. Like, fucking hell, man. That's fucking unbelievable. That is a farce in the supposed most talented league in the world. The most taken seriously professional basketball league in the world. The fact that that runs is an absolute joke. This official right here bouncing the basketball into the free throw shooter. He is a joke. Thomas makes both. We're inside the final minute of the half. It is a 1-point game. Fox, Vassell, Biombo, Paul, and Johnson the 5. Here is Vassell. High screen by Biombo. Now the switch. Watford guarding on the perimeter. 5 to shoot. Oh, that's a tough 2. Rims out. Oh my God. You are absolutely taking the fucking piss. You allow 3 offensive rebounds to the same bloke. And not one bit of physicality. I don't know how Cam Thomas is the guy that's doing the work under the basket to try to get a rebound, but that's a cynical way to give up 2 points. So 4.5 second difference between shot and game. Thomas guarded by Vassell on the perimeter. Attacks down the middle. Picks up his dribble. Moves through. Doesn't get the angle. And it is out of bounds off of the nets. So 6 seconds to play. And the Spurs will have to take it end to end. Champagne is in the game for shooting purposes. So Biombo will sit. Subs being made here for defense for Brooklyn. It's Martin in to guard Vassell, and Williams also on the floor. It looks like Wilson and Keon Johnson are also going to enter. So a lot of changes, a lot of movement from the respective benches. So Fox, 4 to shoot, 3 to shoot, gets by Johnson, Euro step, easy layup with 0.3, and that is going to be halftime. And the lead is 5. That is a shocking way to end the half by giving up, well, really 2 very fucking easy buckets, to be honest. So disappointing final minute. We barely made inroads on them, and I tell you what, it felt like we had the better of them for more time in that quarter. We only outscored them by 1 after we started off scoring, I think, going on an 18-5 run or something to that effect. The lead is 5, so it is definitely not out of reach. Oh my God, Toronto, you're taking the piss. All the results we needed to go our way are no longer going our way. I'm just going to keep that game on while we do the little debrief for the first half. Cam Thomas had a pretty good half. I'm going to say it's definitely his best game since his return, but he's still not shooting the ball as efficiently as I would have liked. 1 of 6 from deep. Watford's at a good half. D'Lo shooting the ball from the outside has been an absolute lost cause. And it was good to see Clax get a little bit more involved in that second quarter, but the real issue, I mean, well, Keldon Johnson scored 11 and Vassell scored 13 for the home side. Biombo's got 10 and 6. He's actually outplaying Claxton right now, which is something that I didn't think I would be saying, but I think this pays respect to the sheer amount of inconsistency that Claxton plays with. Has the ability to score 16 and 10 on like a Milwaukee Bucks team, and then does this, allowing like a 20 and 10 game to bloody Bismack Biyombo. They're shooting the ball very, very well. It's another 50-40 sort of output from the field and three. The turnovers are saving us at the moment, and the free throws, they've barely had any, but for the Nets, we had a better three-point shooting quarter. We shot 5 of 9, but the field goal percentage is a little bit inferior. We've made 4 less shots and taken 1 less. So some improvement needs to be made in that respect. The rebounding, we are down a couple, and well, those Keldon Johnson rebounds made a hell of a difference at the end of that first half to give him some vital buckets. For the Spurs, I mean, Chris Paul's done really nothing. He's taken 1 shot, but he's been a great facilitator. And De'Aaron Fox hasn't really been all that assertive either. So, you know, you're looking at Harrison Barnes, Castle, De'Aaron Fox is their 4th best scorer, and Harrison Barnes is one off him. So, it's come from some less recognizable sources of offense, which I find quite surprising. But overall, I think, yeah, there's definitely improvement that can be had, especially that defense, man. Defense has been incredibly frustrating to watch a lot of the time today. Sorry, I haven't looked at the chat messages. Do we hold on to Cam Thomas for the rebuild? That is not 100% sure, actually, with this one. It's a bit of a tough one to call. Who's my pick for AFL Premiership? I'm not going to do that right now. Who's my MIP pick? Most improved pick. It's a really tough one. Oh my god, they've got for the Spurs game, they've got it looks like it's grandparents' night because all the retirees are out on the floor dancing. I'm trying to think of who would be a candidate for most improved. I think that's a very good question, actually. Let me just quickly look at the team stats for this game. Points in the paint. Well, the Spurs have got 10 more than us, so that needs to be fixed up heading into the second half. Points off turnovers. We've somehow conceded more points off turnovers, even though we've looked after the basketball a little bit better. Assist numbers are through the roof for San Antonio, nearly assisting on every single bucket they make. They're shooting the ball at nearly the exact identical splits that the Pistons did the other day. And rebounding's very, very similar. The Nets have had 8 steals. And so the fact that they haven't even ended up with more points off turnovers than San Antonio is sort of crazy to me. So definitely a few things to fix up there. There's a minute left in this game between Orlando and Toronto. And it looks like the Raptors are going with a tanking lineup right here. Haven't made it at all obvious with basically every player that I can't name on the floor for them. Please just win, Toronto. Please just win. Oh my god. The Magic are going to steal it at the end here. Can already sense it. The Warriors are beating the Knicks. That's surprising. Banchero's getting doubled and he's still going to score. Oh! What? How did they call that a goaltend? They fucking called that a goaltend, but they didn't call the other one a goaltend in our game. Oh. Man, the Raptors are definitely losing this. inside a minute, they are tied up at 108. Why are the Magic running Corey Joseph in a closing lineup? Oh my god. This lineup is clamping for Orlando. This is an important game because, yeah, Toronto need to gain ground on us. If they're a sniff to catch us. Like, they're sitting quickly in Scotty Barnes. Like, if they really wanted to play their starters right now and win the game, they probably could. But they took them off in the last, 3 minutes. Let me see when they made the subs. It looks like, so they took Barrett off, who's missed a bunch of free throws. They took Barrett off at the 137 mark for some G Leaguer, really. Because, yeah, this is almost the best starting lineup they've had in a long time. That they're running. The Bucks are beating Atlanta by 5. The Sixers are putting up a fight, and so are the Bulls against much better opposition. The MIP pick, I'm not really too sure who I could give it to here. I'm trying to think. I actually don't know, because how many games do you need to play again to be relevant? Because I would have said, I don't know. I'm just trying to see year by year who's been crazy good. I need to see. I think there may have been. If I just search this on Twitter, I'm sure some names will come up. Cade Cunningham is the heavy favorite, followed by Tyler Hero. I did think Dyson Daniels off the rip because he is significantly worse. Oh my god, did they just make a fucking 3-pointer off the inbounds? Oh my god. The Raptors don't want to tank. So they're up by 3 with 42 seconds left. And the Magic are using one of their final 2 timeouts. That's a great play out of the timeout. Just a little spin cycle almost. What was I saying though? Dyson Daniels is the first name that comes to mind though, because Dyson Daniels was barely playing a significant role for New Orleans a season ago. He was only playing 22 minutes a game, averaging 6 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds. He's now averaging 14 points. So that's that's 8 points better off. He's also averaging more, an assist more a game, a rebound and a half more a game. He's averaging over double the amount of rebounds. Over double the amount of steals a game and double the amount of blocks a game. So this has been a massive jump for Dyson. So he could be a smoky selection, but they'd never do it. The Magic have gotten 29 points out of Wagner and Banchero in this fourth quarter, so I'm interested to see if they get a bucket here. Looks like it's a 2-for-1 operation. That's why they called the foul. This is a tough gig for these rotation plays for the Raps. Oh my god, Banchero cannot miss. That was a step back 3. He's got 20 in the quarter. So the Raptors are going for the lead now. It's 111 apiece. And I don't know who the hell they're playing through. Oh my god, they lost the basketball. Are you fucking kidding me? They'll give it to Banchero. He's guarded by a 6'1" point guard and the lane's wide open. This is a bucket. He's going to ice it right here. Easy layup. Oh, he got fouled. So he's got to make the free throws with 5 seconds left, and the Raptors will call their final timeout. That's fucking crazy, man. It's a tough 3. Scored 20 in the quarter. Jesus Christ. So Those two have gone absolutely berserk in this fourth quarter. Combined for 67 of their points. Unbelievable. Like, without those two, I don't know where the hell the Magic are. Speaking of Dyson Daniels, as we said a couple moments ago, they are also in a tight tussle against the Milwaukee Bucks right now. It's a 2-point game in that one. God, there's just multiple games on League Pass watch right now. Oh, the Bucks made it a 4-point game. That's not ideal. So a lot of games are not going the way a Nets fan would wanted it to have gone down. Banchero's made both, so he, like, every shot is magnetized to going through the hoop. So the Hawks have choked it. The Raptors have choked it, but the Raptors have done so intentionally. Karis LeVert's gone crazy for Atlanta. So, can the Raptors... Look, the Raptors are going to go for the win. It's a 2-point game. They're probably going to want to put Jonathan Isaac on this random that scored 2 threes in the clutch for them. So, that's probably what I'm expecting to happen. Let's see. Okay. If you are enjoying the stream, by the way, make sure to drop a like on it and subscribe if you're new. We'll be back in a couple of days for Nets versus the Golden State Warriors, who are now absolutely annihilating New York. This has just happened so quickly. The Raptors are going for the win, and I am the biggest Raptors fan for the next 10 seconds. They've just got bums on the floor. Like, this isn't even going to hit the rim. Is there a foul off the ball? Oh my God. They're going for a 3. Oh! They hit it! They hit the 3! Oh my God! They hit it! Oh my God. It is not over yet. There's 0.5 on the clock. That is the craziest bucket I've seen in a long while under the heat. Given the situation, this is a fucking bench player. He's a rookie. Walter is his toe on the line. No, it is not. That is a 3 off balance, jumping into the defender. He's just hit a bucket. It's just a bit of a heave from the top of the key. What a make! That is fucking incredible. I cannot believe that has gone in. Meanwhile, the fucking second half is starting in the game that I'm actually doing a watch party for. So I'm just gonna have to keep tabs. That is not the game that we're interested in right now. The Raptors have just scored a 3-pointer with 5 of their bums on the floor to take the lead with 0.5 on the clock. The Magic at a timeout, so they're going to have one crack at it to score any bucket. The Nets have turned it over in the meantime on their first possession of the second half. De'Aaron Fox shovels it out to Chris Paul. Biyombo's going to roll, and he's going to just lose the ball going up, but the easy follow-up by San Antonio results in a Vassell bucket, so not a great start to this second half, Brooklyn. But meanwhile, I'm just watching the Magic Raptors game. Banchero's inbounding it with 0.5, so they're not looking for him. Carter's on the floor. De Silva's on the floor. They've got like 3 players who are lob threats. Cam Johnson, high off the window, is fouled. It'll be free throws. They go for the lob. It's off, and the Raptors win. Oh my God. Wait. What the fuck? Have they just called a foul? What? What are they doing? I need to see what's going on in this game. Oh my god. They just called a fucking stoppage for a clock malfunction with the score at 0-0. How on earth do you fucking screw this up? I've never seen anything like it in my life. Oh my god. Well, the ball's just going out of bounds anyway. What? So they've started the clock too early. That is an absolute shambles by the Orlando Magic scoreboard people. Fox with the turnaround J in the meantime is off. Claxton wrestles the ball away from his own man. Cam Johnson on the outside will kick out to Thomas. He's guarded by Biyombo. He'll get by him easily, and his runner rattles out. So looks like we're going to have to do the 0.5 seconds all over again for Orlando. Biyombo's got another 2. Oh, good take there by Williams to just wrap up Biyombo before he went up. Meanwhile, across town, the Magic are cooked because they've used their final timeout. There was a clock malfunction, so their play is ruined. We know they're going for the lob. So they've fucking screwed that one up, haven't they? I just want to hear what's going on in that game. Oh my god. That's actually fucked up Orlando because now they have to, because of the clock malfunction and no one with clear possession, they have to win a jump ball and shoot the ball within 0.5 seconds. You just don't need to give away a foul. Biyombo made one of his 2 free throws. Cam Johnson in the corner right now to Claxton in the middle. Russell will shoot a 3, and that is an air ball. It must have been a tip. It will be Nets basketball. So they get a little bit of a bailout here. D'Lo's like 1 of 6 from deep right now. So the Magic are basically cooked. They've just somehow lost a game, getting 20 from Banchero, 12 from Wagner. Oh! What is going on? The basketball just sat on the rim for like 3 or 4 seconds. The Spurs have just got an open 3 in transition and they've missed it. What the hell is going on here? Nets in transition have an open 3 now, and Williams can't hit the 3. And I've got to get the scoreboard synced up. The Raptors end up winning the game against Orlando, so that helps us out greatly, especially if we lose today. Fox goes vertical. Good contest by Claxton. They missed the follow-up, and then they got another crack at it again. So 67-59 the score so far in this. Well, that's where the scoreline has us 2.5 minutes into this third quarter. So the Raptors, that is a big win for them. Even when they were trying to tank, they ended up winning. Russell, you make. Let's go. D'Lo's second 3-point make of the game. The Warriors have absolutely steamrolled the Knicks in the fourth quarter. So that is helpful in the sense that we own the Knicks pick. There's a foul or a timeout at the 8:55 mark. And the lead is 5. I don't know what's going on. I think it's just a timeout. Who scored the buckets for them? Well, they got no Karl Anthony Towns, so that sort of explains it. But they've conceded. Yeah, they've been outscored by, 20 in the second half. That is pretty drastic for the Knicks. Sixers losing to Minnesota, but some results have gone our way. That Raptors one is a big one because they try to close the game with bums on the floor and they still won the match because they hit 3 ridiculous 3-pointers. Jacoby Walter and like 4 of their bench players played the end of the game, and they still won the match. That's just crazy to me. So the Nets will be pretty happy about that one. Sixers are understandably going to lose, so we kind of have to as well. Well, I mean, we don't have to, but it would be a bit of a waste. You know, because there's been a few games this season where where we've won games when we shouldn't have. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is the Nets-Bucks game, where we conceded 20 points in a row and still won the match. I mean, that was one we shouldn't have won at all. This game today with Toronto beating the Magic, very, very similar, because they closed with a bunch of bums. They actually trailed with 5 seconds left, and they just hit the most ridiculous off-balance three, but they also hit a couple of three-pointers in the last minute and a half, 2 minutes from the same guy out of timeouts, you know? And those were some big buckets. Their last 3 buckets came from three-point territory. And I don't think these are reliable players. AJ Lawson, I think, was the guy that hit them. He scored 13 off the bench. He was 5 of 6 in the game. So, bit of misfortune there. And the Rockets lost as well. And the Knicks are also going to lose. So those are all things that veer into our favor when it comes to our draft pick situation at the end of the year. Oh my god. Have they seriously just, out of the timeout, scored a fucking alley-oop jam? Biyombo's fucking killing us. Biyombo was like, got their most points. Okay. Clax, this is not your finest moment. Biyombo in 2025 is leading their scoring. Thomas the cross. Driving kick. Williams hops into a 3. That is short. And a rebound for Biyombo, who is just about everywhere at this point. We've got another stoppage. It's a kickball violation this time. Let me just see. Yeah, I need to do a live score check of what the hell Biyombo's stat line is. Because this is just fucking unbelievable, to be honest. God, that's too easy defensively, but a good recovery. Paul, off one leg, scores with the right hand. And, man, the oldies are fucking cooking. Thomas the drive down the middle. Kick out to Russell, pump fake. Crossover, beautiful cross. He didn't actually get the scooper to go. Nets nearly get the steal. Paul has it, flings it ahead. Vassell splash. Call a timeout. That is, we have started so poorly out the gate in this second half. It is, what, a 12-5 start to them? They're gone on a 7-0 run as well. Bloody hell. It's ridiculous. Okay. Alrighty. So, sorry I've been a little bit sidetracked for the first 5 or so minutes of this second half. It's just been a little bit all over the place with the way the results have gone. I mean, the Bucks have won, but we've had 3 or 4 results go our way, which is grouse news. And a loss today would help us in that respect as well, but you don't like the way we're losing right now. Let's just go to the box score. I mean, CT really hasn't done too much in this second half. He's gotten a few assists, which you like to see, but I mean, Zaire Williams especially, man, he has had a really rough game ever since he got those 10 minutes a few games back. Almost like, yeah, he got stripped of his minutes. He's been awful. He's a negative 24 in the plus minus. The starting group's been cooked. Bismack Biyombo's got 13 and 11. He's got 2 blocks. Clax, respectfully, this is fucking awful. I can't even sugarcoat it. There's no respect to be had with the way he's getting dominated by a guy who's probably averaging 5 points a game this year. Like, I mean, we were talking about most improved conversations. If you want to narrow it down to a 1-game sample, well, you can say Bismack Biyombo would be right up there because he hasn't scored more than 10 in his last 5. And he's averaging 5 points and 4.5 rebounds on the season. He has got 13 and 11 already. And we're not even halfway through this quarter. Biyombo's going to end up fucking scoring 20 and having 20 rebounds. Like, that is the sort of performance we're dealing with here. And I don't even know how old he is. He's 32, but it seems like he's been in the league for 5 more years. So the Nets make a couple changes. They've taken their starting backcourt out in Thomas and Russell, and they've replaced them with Keon Johnson and Tyrese Martin, but I don't know what we need more of right now, the shooting or the defense, because both of them have been very lackluster and they're not helping each other. Barnes, the drive, kick out. There's somehow another open 3. It's Vassell, and that is good as well. Numbers are collapsing, and we're just getting absolutely rinsed. $13-3 run in 4 minutes, or just a little bit under that. Looking a lot more alert defensively in this third quarter. And I imagine, given they conceded 57 up in the first half, 32 more specifically in that second quarter, they would have wanted to see a lift. From a net standpoint, apparently that doesn't exist. Williams has another 3. He has not taken it. He drives it in and scores with the right hand. A nice little move on the interior. A higher percentage look, which you like to see there. From Z on a night where the 3s haven't been falling. Barnes into Chris Paul, and now Vassell on the right side. He's going to call for the Biyombo screen. He will roll. Williams comes over to help. Nets are going to need to rotate across. It's Paul who's going to shoot over Williams. That is a tough shot. Doesn't get the bounce. Rebound by Johnson. Claxton actually boxing out for once, which you like. CJ picks up his dribble. Claxton fakes the handoff. Forces the issue and is fouled by Biyombo at the 6-minute mark. And that could be a play trying to put him into a little bit of foul trouble because old mate is killing him. So, 2 free throws for Claxton. He has been largely held. Biyombo going to the bench, and that's almost the best news we could have received for the last, well, in this game today. A bit of news I wouldn't mind is Claxton making free throws, which he fails to do on that attempt there. Castle is into the game. Wow, the water just splashed in my face. That was ridiculous. And Clax misses both. I mean, this is just like inflicting stab wound after stab wound, really. Nets had been shooting the ball well from the line until those free throws right there. Vassell cannot miss in the quarter. It really just doesn't help that we're giving him 3 after 3. It's almost like it's layup after layup. Johnson bounces it out to Williams. Another open look and another miss by Williams. I mean, he's going to need to be making those if He wants to be taken seriously as an NBA player. He fights for the loose ball after Paul mishandled it, and it trickled out of play. So it's a 16-point game, and yeah, the defense has just been fucking awful this quarter. We've conceded 18 points, but offense has also been at a standstill. But really, the shot selection is very 3-point heavy. Wilson's back on the floor. Sharp is out there too. Paul's going to put up a 3. That one is good. It is... That basketball is magnetized to that end. Like, it is just not evading the capture of the rim. Every single possession. Meanwhile, on our side, we can't even hit a bucket. We're barely hitting rim. It's a 19-point lead. Castle's going to attack the mismatch and scores and +1. So you're not going to get the 3 on the outside? Well, we'll give it to you on the interior. And Dayron's going to go to the bench as I think a timeout's being called. With the lead at 21, this has just ballooned in a crazy amount of time. So 4:45 to play. The Nets have scored a measly 7 points. They are due a quarter like this in every game, it feels like. So, yeah. I mean, this is, like, it's probably the perfect way to describe this team as well. Like, just the inconsistency. Have a 57-point half. It's like, against OKC, we score 76.5 and then back it up with, like, scoring 8 in about 8 minutes, you know? So, I mean, I already was like a little bit disengaged at the start of the second half due to the other games going on, but now it's like, it's sort of difficult to like continue with the excitement or the enthusiasm. The lead is at a very healthy margin for San Antonio. So 4:46 to play. I mean, the way the game is gone, this will probably end a lot sooner rather than later. A free throw here for Castle. I'm pretty sure they've gone on a 19-2 run. It's almost, oh my god, you can't even get a fucking rebound off their free throw misses. Like, really? You just had a timeout called and you probably got a talking to about playing harder. Like, come on, lads. And they're going to hit that too. Oh my god. Thank God we got bailed out there. Because Dayron nearly just gave up another rebound to the opposition. But luckily for us, it will be Nets ball with 4:30 to play. It's a 21-point lead. 4:30 to play. The 5 on the floor. Oh my god. They are swarming to try play defense. Wilson, the spin move. It's a good recovery by the Spurs. They just look so much more energetic than us in this quarter. Wilson got blocked, and he's actually been hit with a foul. Not Wilson. The man contesting that shot, which was Sohan. Yeah, that's soft. There's nothing in that. That sucks the wind right out of the sails because, man, like, that would have been another stop on top of all the other stops they've had in the first 8 minutes of this quarter. They just keep on culminating. And it's very easy to get down in the dumps as a Nets player because you've got zero output for your effort in this third quarter. Like 9 points in 8 minutes. Or 7 points prior to those 2 free throws there. Like, it just... that takes the energy out of you even more so when that's what you need to get back into the game. Sohan the spin, blocked by Sharp. Good stop. We need a run. Johnson puts on the Jets. That could have been a clear strip, but it's going to be free throws here. So can the bench put in a shift and maybe go on like a 9-0 run or like a 7-0 run in the next 2.5, 3 minutes to make this a ball game heading into the fourth? I'm not 100% sure, but they look like the more likely group to do it. Free throw made there by Keon Johnson. .345 to play in this third quarter. Johnson makes both. So back down to 17. Nets of the last 4. They've got to keep that going if they're to make this anything reminiscent of a ball game in the fourth quarter. Vassell is going to keep on firing. It's actually fucking ridiculous. We're not even... You've got to get right into his grill and deny that pass, man, because he has not missed. I think he's made like 3 or 4 threes in the quarter without a miss. It's a 20-point game. Keon Johnson, the drive, picks up his dribble. They are just swarming, getting into passing lanes, holding the man up. It's another Vassell 3. He cannot miss. There is just no answer. How many points has he scored? He's got 30 in the game. He has only missed 2 of his 13 shots. He is a plus 37. Oh my God. I mean, in a game where they don't have any Wembanyama, you mildly expect someone to go crazy. I don't think to this extent though. I think he had 11 or 13 points at the half. He's gotten over half their total in the quarter. He's just gone absolutely berserk, and I think he's hit about 3 or 4, maybe even 5 3-pointers. It's gone crazy in this quarter. So, fucking hell, man. 91-68. Spurs are cooking. They're going crazy, man. So, bit of time now still to see what this Nets team have got in response to this. The Spurs have gone on a 24-6 run in the last 6 minutes or so, and I'm willing to bet you any money that at least 18 of those points have come from the hands of Vassell. The Nets barely have any timeouts left. Geordie's just been exhausting them like time and time again because there's just been no answer. Geordie's needed to regroup the team, but it's never come with a response. Vassell is still out on the floor. We need to be like defending him better than that. Like, show him a bit of fucking respect. We run him off the line this time. Oh, what a find to Keldon Johnson. And yet again, that was this time it was a backdoor cut that wasn't even honored or respected, should I say. Russell, screen, picks up his dribble. Watford on the wing, 4 to shoot. Attacks, Vassell, hangs, it's off. Dayron did hit rim. We trap. There's got to be a timeout in that. Oh my God. They're going to somehow get it ahead, even though we blitzed. Sohan is stripped on the last line by D'Lo, but that's not really going to count for too much. Sub's going to be made here. Vassell will take a seat after a very, very, very good third quarter. Oh my God. They're taking the fucking piss to the point where they're showing to the point where they're showing the bench antics and they're still scoring buckets. They're scoring from passes off the back of our own players. Vassell hasn't even... I'm very surprised by this stat that I was just shown on screen. Vassell's never hit 7 threes in a game. Which is crazy to me. Because I feel like he's a very good three-point shooter, and he puts them up at a high volume, so it's pretty surprising that he's never hit 7 threes in a game. And we've still got a quarter to play, so he can smash that record. Sohan is off. Watford with the board. Wilson leaked out. Oh my God. We didn't honor that. Russell wanted the give and go. Watford to Thomas now. Step back. Extra. Watford, one more. Wilson, 3. Splash. So a couple of buckets have made this look a little bit more respectable, but still gonna need to hold them scoreless for the rest of the quarter. Sohan gets the dump off. Inside the final minute now. Castle, drive down middle. Layup, too easy. It's a pretty make, but we're not even trying to stop them defensively. We're not even remaining in front at any point. So 97-75. Thomas, drive, puts the head down, and scoops it home very craftily, but I don't really know how he's done that. Got to get a stop, though, and we've just allowed an open layup again. Castle can't get the reverse, and it's a foul. Oh, like, there's just merely no response, man. This team is playing so lethargically. You score a bucket, and you can't even fucking set yourselves up and cram the paint defensively to get a stop. Like, sort yourselves out. So 37.5 left. Spurs have had... Well, Castle misses another free throw. He has been very, very poor from the line for all the good he's contributed today. The Spurs had 31 points in their first 2 quarters, and or each, and they've trumped that total on the back of, well, some great work by Devin Vassell offensively. The Nets can get it under 20 here. Vassell misses both. Thomas is gonna heave one up and hit it. So 26 seconds left in this third quarter. The Nets have, well, taken it down from 25 to 17 in a relatively quick amount of time, and they're gonna need to operate as quickly in the final period of regulation. They need to get a stop here first and foremost. Fox, drive in, layup. It's good defense, but I don't know how he's scored that. Beautiful bit of contortion. Thomas picks up his dribble. Extra. Oh my God. I'm pretty sure they stopped the clock. But it didn't matter anyway, because the Nets did not score. It's 3-quarter time, a 19-point lead. The San Antonio Spurs end with 37 points in that third quarter. The Nets, they were lagging behind from minute 1 in that second half. They scored a couple early ones, but then the Spurs got out to a very comfortable margin, and there was no looking back. It's a 19-point lead. We've got a quarter to play, and we've nearly conceded 100 points already. I really don't know where the defense has gone, because that was something that was our calling card for basically the entire month of February. It's turned a new page, and this page is littered with corruption. Not corruption. It's littered with cruelty on the eye from a defensive perspective. It is disgusting to watch us concede 30 points every quarter we play. We look at the box score, and while they were shooting 50-40 from the field and 3 at halftime, I'm willing to bet you it's now 60-50. Well, it is 50% from 3. Is it the same from the field? Let's have a quick gander. 40 divided by 71, 56%. So they are shooting the leather off the basketball, if that even makes any logistical sense. They've got 5 players in double figures, but Devin Vassell hit, I think, 5 threes in that quarter, and he is up to 30 points, nearly at a double-double with 4 assists and 3 steals. He's a plus 37 in 3 quarters. That is a crazy, crazy number. And they've had some great supporting acts. Keldon Johnson had like 11 in the first half. He didn't even need to do anything. Castle, Fox has only had the 11 points to his name. Biombo's at a double-double. And meanwhile, on the net side, I mean, we've gotten 18 from Cam and 5 assists. We're going to need to see more from a scoring perspective from him in the 4th quarter. But, man, there's been some very, very negative 5-man groups for the Nets. That's for certain. Cam Johnson's been held very, very quiet. Only the 5 attempts. D'Lo's had the 12, but not with efficiency. And look, if the Nets are to somehow pull this off, I'm going to be amazed. They're running a group with Thomas, Russell, Sharp, Watford, and Thomas, and I would almost say that that is our best chance at a win right there. And we get a steal off the start. Russell got tied up. How did he not get the ball? Oh my God. We had 2 players swarm for a steal. One of them ended up trying to get ahead, and the one that stayed with the basketball trying to get us the steal never actually got it in the end. Thomas has hit another 3, so he's hit his straps. And he's up to the 20s now for points. Fox, the kick out to Champagny. That's an open look. Oh my God. That, if we had have gotten the steal off the start, off the rip, that would have made things interesting. Potentially some momentum to carry over. But instead, getting the complete opposite result, that kills you as a team. That is a foul. Dayron Sharp under the basket, fouled by Champagny. Like, how the fuck has D'Lo not gotten that basketball? That was a very soft moment right there by D'Angelo. He's got to be better than that. Cam Johnson is going to pull the trigger on a tray. That is off. And such is the lack of momentum that he's had all game. He's just allowed an open 3 as well. That's off. We swarm for the rebound. It's the long rebound. Watford shovels it out. Thomas is feeling it. Nope. Not that time, though. That would have made it an 18-point game, but really feel like we need to dig in by scoring 2s more than anything if we can get a few steals and put it all together. But allowing backdoor cuts to Castle uncontested is not going to work for you when you're applying no on-ball pressure. It's a 23-point game. Thomas nearly fucking made a meal of it and hits a 3-pointer. That should have been a double dribble or a travel. They've called a timeout. That was a carry, I'm pretty certain. Thomas was ready to unleash the pass on the handoff and then realized that that option was no longer on and he kept going with his handle. So Nets get a little bit of respite there, but I think they're very lucky to get away with that. So scoreline is 106-86. Alrighty. Okay. So look, I mean, this isn't a bad result for the tank, but Still, it's a bit demoralizing when you're down 20 and you've shipped off 30 points every quarter. I think it just goes completely against everything that Geordie would want from his team, play-wise. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit conflicted with the way this result is going right now. Okay. So 10 minutes left. They've called a timeout. I don't know how many timeouts both teams are remaining. I think we've just got our 2 timeouts left. Does it say how many timeouts we have left? Yeah, we've got 2. They've got 3. I'd imagine they've been stripped of a few of their mandatory timeouts. That's for sure. So 106-86 the scoreline. Okay. So 106-86. Bit of work to do now for Brooklyn. They've been outscored by a pretty hefty amount in this second half. 15 to be exact. Alrighty. So, play resumes with, well, it being Spurs basketball. Lead at 20. Fox, Sohan, Castle, Johnson, and Champagny, the 5 on the floor. Another small lineup here for San Antonio. It's worked very, very well for them. Johnson, another 3. That one's off. They somehow are getting offensive rebounds with undersized groups. That tells you all you need to know about the way this game's gone. Fighting on the glass again, and yet again they get another opportunity through a foul under the basket. It's just fucking ridiculous, man. How are you giving him a third opportunity when Sohan is their tallest player on the floor? Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, it's actually downright inexcusable. Fox is going to shoot a 3. That'll go in. Yeah, for sure it will. Like, you're just going to get punished at some point. So, and this is without Vassell even in the ball game, you know. Johnson's going to get an open look off the back of a beautiful off-ball Watford screen. It's a make, but when you can't make simple rebounds, like, you're screwed. Claxton, good defense. The Nets can run. Good rim protection. Watford's going to go early. Thomas is another open 3. He took a dribble. That 3's off. Johnson gets the offensive board. Thomas will get it again. He'll shoot it again. And that one's off. Offensive board. Watford the easy layup. Back down to 17. So perhaps at the 8:30 mark, maybe we can go on a late game run and make the scoreboard look a lot more respectable than what it probably deserves to be. Good cut down the middle. Champagny scores the layup. And with defensive sequences like that, you can say goodbye to any chance of that happening. Thomas into Russell. Quick trigger. That 3's off. They mistime their jump, though. Thomas, beautiful feed. Claxton, easy flush under the hoop. And the Spurs coach is absolutely furious. Because it's almost like the Spurs have flicked the off switch with some of their rebounding sequences in the last few moments. I don't think they'd be particularly impressed with the opportunities that they've been granting Brooklyn. We head back to the box score, and Cam Thomas has gotten very busy in the fourth quarter. Excuse me. He's put up a lot of three-pointers, CT. 13 to be exact. He's got the 24 points, the 6 assists, and look, you got D'Lo with the 12, Cam Johnson with 10. Watford's actually got a double-double, which I find very, very surprising and not on my bingo card. Wilson with the 13 as well is a bit crazy to think. but those numbers are not coming close to what San Antonio have contributed. There's been far less passengers for them in comparison to us. They've got one man less in their rotation, but every single player that's played has not contributed empty minutes. And that can be seen purely by way of, well, the box score, the plus minus, really. There's no one that fits into the minus at all. Except for Julian Champagny. Champagny is a -16 in a game they're up 17. Now, that takes a very impressive level of bad to achieve. He's probably, the only one who's really stunk it up for them. But that just goes to show how important that third quarter run by the starting group was for them. Pretty crazy that they were able to go on such a brilliant run like they did. 110-93 the score with 8 minutes to play here in this quarter. In this game, really, 110-93 the scores. The Spurs have started this fourth quarter probably not as well as they would have liked to have, though. The rebounding's been fairly unacceptable. So 110-93 the score. Alrighty. Let's see what the Nets have got here. They've been a lot better in this fourth quarter and have played with a bit more of an admirable brand, but still, this is not all that acceptable. So play resumes. For the Nets, they've put Martin, Keon Johnson, Cam Johnson, Watford, and Claxton on the floor. D'Lo and Thomas to the bench. Tough three for Champagny. It's off. We get the rebound. And we're going to move quickly. Johnson's the trailer. He's going to go downhill. Reverse. Got it to go. Good, efficient team basketball early in the clock. And I don't think we capitalized on that nearly enough in the opening three quarters. Put up way too many threes. That's good defense. Vassell back on the floor. Let's see if he's iced. He's guarded by Claxton on an island. He shoots a mid-range. And there's nothing that doesn't go down for Devin Vassell, man. He's 12 of 14. He's got 32 points. It's one of the more efficient performances you will ever see. Martin on the perimeter now. Looking for Cam Johnson. He lost Barnes momentarily. Pass into Martin. Down the middle. Splits defenders. Beautiful layup. Love that. So 112-97. 7 minutes to play. Castle across to Vassell. And now Castle will drive on Watford. The little crossover to the man rolling back out to the perimeter, which was Sohan. 5 to shoot. The kick out of Barnes. He's got to put one up. 2 to shoot. 1 to shoot. It's a step back 3. Don't go in. Oh my God, it fucking did. There is nothing you can do about that. That is a massive make because that was an opportunity right there to get it down to a dozen. I could see it as Johnson hits the 3-point bomb. So if Barnes doesn't make that, it's down to a dozen and it's looking hella interesting. A little over half of a quarter to play. Castle gets through. Oh, what a bucket that is. He's got athleticism for a reason. God gifted it to him, not to waste it. And that is a beautiful dunk going downhill. I mean, there wasn't much resistance though. Watford, Euro, foul, and free throws here at the 5:51 mark. So at least the Nets have made it a little bit more reasonable in this fourth quarter. But, man, the defense still has looked very, very unreasonable for an NBA game, that's for certain. Looks like we may have double technicals here between Barnes and Watford, or Sohan and Watford. Sohan is a world-class shit stirrer. 2 free throws coming up here for Watford to cut the deficit down to 15. So Watford makes the first at the line. Let's see what all the fuss was about. It was Watford talking with Castle. Just completely unnecessary bullshit going on between the two. Watford probably the initiator in all that. There's still a long way to go in this as well. Cam Johnson takes a seat. And it seems like Johnson was only just now starting to get into the flow of the game after making a couple of early buckets. The Nets foul Castle. So is this a ploy to... Is this a ploy to hack Stephon Castle? Because he has not made a free throw all game. I'm pretty certain of that. Or maybe it was just to make a sub and get Zaire Williams into the contest. Claxton still out on the floor. Castle, the cross. Drive in. Claxton didn't get a piece of it. Oh, they're going to foul Biombo. So I think this is a very cheeky play to hack their poor free throw shooters to give him a little sniff of potentially stealing the game right away. I'm not really sure why we committed that foul though. Clax had... Well, they had Biombo with the basketball with 9 to shoot, so... Interesting decision. The clock resets to 14. Vassell is going to get blitzed. Biombo on the roll. 2 to shoot. He's got to put one up. And he doesn't. And the Nets can trim this a little bit further if they're feeling crazy. 5:20 to play. If they move it quickly, they've got a chance. But they're probably playing the most net negative group of, well, any possible combination today, right now. And that 3 is off. This is the reason. I mean, they turned it over immediately on the very first possession up that end. Johnson's going to put one up. That goes in as well. So it's off the back of 3-point shooting, but they have gotten this down to 12. 5 minutes to play. Cam Johnson's getting ready to return. Vassell, got it by Williams. He's going to try put him in prison. Spin. Step back 2. Oh, he just cannot miss. It's just, I'm saying the same thing on repeat like a broken record, but it doesn't, like, there is no other way to explain this. Williams turns it over again. Just really proving to be the exclamation point on what has been a disgusting night for him. Paul steps into one. That is good. And in the blink of an eye, Geordie will call a timeout and that will be it. So, what a surprise that is. This, like, the minute he brings in the bum bench with, like, Keon Johnson and Zaire. Zaire's probably had the shittest game known to man today. When you look at things from a basketballing perspective, I mean, he hasn't made shots. He's turned the ball over. He's been a part of every shit group. Like, look at the box score here. Williams is in -30. He's only made 2 of his 7 shots. Like, well, that was his first turnover, but he's just not contributing anything of value. And that is very disappointing. I mean, we took off all the players that were actually making a difference earlier in the fourth quarter. And we've put up a fight in the fourth quarter, but it looks like it's very much destined to be another quarter where we concede 30. I mean, the Spurs already have 122 points, 4 minutes to play. So a chance to crack 130, and the Nets are not playing anything close to a brand of basketball that I think Jordi Fernandez would want us to hang our hats on. So Cam Johnson back on the floor with 4 minutes to play. Let's see if the Nets can close this one out on a high. They've brought, CJ back in, who scored some nice buckets late in the game, but unfortunately when they don't matter. Claxton to Cam Johnson, picks up his dribble, shovels it out to Keon Johnson on the right wing, 7 to shoot. Johnson's going to go at Biyombo, drives it in, kick out. Martin, oh my God, he already had it ready to fire. Those ones are so satisfying when you have it here and it's just a quick flick of the wrist and it takes it down to 14, but damage has been done already. Vassell moves through, has the defender on his left, isn't able to score it. Rebound ends up with Brooklyn after it was in dispute for a few seconds. They can move it quickly if they would like. Martin, little crossover. Johnson on the wing. He's going to put one up over Paul. And that one's off. That would have made it very interesting if we had have made that. But the Spurs are well in control as they have been for the entire second half. Fox scores another little runner to make it 124 to their name, with 3 minutes to play in this fourth period. At least the Nets have made it a lot more respectable as Johnson scores the reverse with a lot of attention to his left. Yeah, at least we've made it a lot more respectable, but that third quarter was probably the most abysmal. Can't get much lower than that from a defensive standpoint. We've just allowed Vassell another open three. Like, has the memo not been sent that he cannot miss today? He's got 37 on 17 shots. Johnson's going to put another 3 up. That one's off. Rebound secured by the Spurs. I think that may count for Vassell. So that would be a double-double. Chris Paul is going to get hit with a foul, which will allow Sohan to check in. 2:02 to play. So Vassell has scored 14 of his 17 shots and made 8 of his 9 3-pointers. I don't know why the Spurs are continuing to play him with 2 minutes to play. Seems like a little bit of a rash decision if one of these guys get injured in the final moments. Vassell getting pressed here by Wilson. It's a shame that we didn't treat him like that earlier in the game. Whitehead is out on the floor now with Max Lewis, and that is the ultimate pulling of the plug. The waving of the white flag. Wilson is going to drive and go at Johnson. And he was fouled by Keldon Johnson. So free throws, I believe, will ensue here for Jalen Wilson. Unless that was their foul to give, in which case it will take another foul for free throws to occur. So Whitehead to inbound. Martin to the corner for Lewis. Back to Martin. 6 to shoot. Crossover. Drive in. Kick out. Beautiful feed. Whitehead 3. Old mate cannot miss. He cannot miss every single time he plays in the NBA. It's like he's addicted to threes. And the gods are on his side, really. Vassell is going to shoot another one. Going for 9. Nope. Minute to play. 14-point lead. Lewis. Euro. Kick out. Martin. They don't even contest it. It's off. And Vassell's going to get that rebound and make it number 10. In the final minute. So he'll get that. Well, that double-double. But I think he was going for the 40-point double-double. 127-113 the score. Nets can score a consolation bucket if they want to. Wilson will put one up. That one's off. And the rebound will be secured by San Antonio as we close in on the final buzzer, which I mean, it looks like is going to result in a 14-point win for San Antonio. They score 127 points. The only quarter they don't score 30 was the fourth, when this game was basically all over. And the Nets, unfortunately, had 2 quarters which were highly damaging, especially that third quarter where they shipped off a game-high 37. And that is going to mean that, they drop to 40 losses now. 40 whole losses. That is an absolute... Well, I think it's a good thing if you're tanking, but at the same time, you don't want to lose like this. You don't want to keep on conceding 120 plus points, because that is just showing how poor your defense is, and that's showing you've got a long way to go. Vassell ends with a 37-point double-double. He was going for 40. He ended up missing 5 shots, but really he missed like 2 or 3 in a row. So he was hitting threes at an incredible clip. Fox didn't even have to do anything. Biyombo ends up with a very aesthetically pleasing double-double. Chris Paul with, being a floor general as he loves to be. And Castle off the bench with 17, even though he missed all 4 of his free throws. The Nets got a double-double out of Watford off the bench. They got 13 from Wilson. D'Lo was inefficient, and Cam Johnson sneaks up to 17 points after a very quiet first 3 quarters. Cam Thomas had 24, but albeit very inefficiently. And overall, the turnovers really dried up in the second half, but it was the shooting percentage which was, the Nets ended up scoring 17 threes, which that definitely improved in the fourth quarter, because they were like 7 of 30, 7 of 29. So they went very well in the fourth quarter, and that's how they outscored them in the fourth. But also outdid them on free throws. But you look at the efficiency, and like they attempted a significant amount less, like 8 less shots. They made 15 or 13 less shots. And we didn't even get a steal in the second half. So that's really telling you all you need to know about, the defense in that second half. It was severely lacking, and we conceded 65 points in the second half, backed up after a 62-point first half for the Spurs. I mean, we go to team stats as well. The rebounding, very, very even. The assist number, they had 37 assists, San Antonio. So that basically speaks volumes about how well they were moving the ball and how many of those passes were good passes and opening up wide open shooters. Maybe it says something about, the Nets scheme as well. They were plus 22 in the paint when they did not even have really a center of note. Biyombo was their only center, and they still managed to score 22 more points. We conceded a ton of points off turnovers, despite actually having less turnovers. So we weren't clinical in that respect, and the lack of steals in the second half definitely contributed towards that. And overall, we were shooting very average percentages, below average percentages from the field, and from 3, 45% and 34% from 3. But for a second consecutive game, allowing threes at over 40% and allowing field goals at over 50%. Today it was 55% and 46%. So, and that was without mentioning, the fact that they only had 10 free throws in the game and only made 5. Can you imagine where we're sitting if we were committing a ton of fouls? I'd rather commit fouls than allow 3s and 2s at this uncanny rate. So overall, we lose this one by 14, and that really just sums it up. The scoreline couldn't be any more suitable. So we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk to you in a couple days for Nets Warriors, but until then, have a good one. Chat to you soon. Bye for now.